And if you are signed in and you do have an idea or a line of business that you would like for me to go over, please let me know. This is not the time to be shy. This is not the time to not speak up. It is quite the contrary. It is time for you to realize great thriving in your life. Let's see. All right, so I've taken a picture, as you heard, on one side. Let's hope that it will transfer. Well, it will transfer, but will it transfer in real time is what we want to see here. All right, so give me. Okay, so I paused, but I'm coming back. 1990 jumps into, right. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, we have got a little bit of progress. What? Okay. I don't know if I can move it. Yeah, I wish that I could. I'm gonna work on that too. That'll just be things that I can aspire to make even easier for this process. And I know we've got a good old glare. It's not sunny outside, but you know, the reflection from the window and all. Okay, all right, so you'll notice that you've got the line of business there. And you can't see my hand, but we'll work on that as well. And again, I'm gonna try some other media, so we're going to grow. I knew it would happen very quickly, but I wasn't expecting it necessarily this quickly, but it always seems to do that. Nature of life, nature of growth. All right, so the first line you'll see, of course, is what? Because we're going back to, and let's go right back to it so we know what we're dealing with. Again, line of business, first things first, second and third. So we talked about, well, what are you gonna do? You've got your strategic implementation plan. This is for Sydney's farm. I imagine you can see the entire document, all right? So that's what you're gonna start off with. You're gonna say strategic implementation plan for whatever it is, okay? And you can, make it whatever color you want. You can add, flair, but right now we're just gonna focus on the meat and potatoes, okay? All right, line of business. That's gonna be your first denoted matter in your strategic implementation plan. Why? For obvious reasons, like we've already stated. You need to know what line of business you're working with, what is relevant, what are we doing, a plan for what? That's it, the plan for this line of business, restaurant or food truck. Now, I know there are going to be some differences between the restaurant and the food truck, so we're probably going to stick with restaurant right now since I haven't had anyone to chime in. I made it flexible because I figured that a lot of people, with the kind of innovative shift to food trucks, that a lot of people may be interested in the food truck more so as a line of business than the restaurant. Please do leave your comments and let me know which you prefer so I can tailor it for you. Because remember, I already know how to do this. I got this. I'm trying to make sure that I can show you in a very realistically applicable fashion how to do this for yourself and how to do this repeatedly for anything that you set out to do in life, okay? You can have a sip for everything. Trust me, you can have a sip for your wedding. You can have a sip for career advancement. You can have a sip if you are restoring a car. You can have a strategic implementation plan for everything you set out to do. All right, so then we know that the next thing that I went over, right, was back to them statutes. So, where we're going? Back to them statutes, okay? So, it is absolutely imperative. That's why I wanted you to start here. Too many people, they don't start here. I guarantee you. You look at all the strategic implementation plans out there, they do not start with law. They have a lot of them have absolutely no basis in law. They just take you on this kind of action, strategy, implementation, goals, objectives, and there you have it. Maybe somewhere deep down buried in the strategic implementation plan is an objective to check on the statutes or maybe hire an attorney or something to that effect. That is not sufficient. You should begin with the governing law. Reason being is because I'm going to show you what it actually says. Concept, it says rules governing the food protection and sanitation of food establishments. Rules governing. So that means governing, that is the prevailing law. That is, hey, this is how it needs to be done. So why would you set out to start in a line of business and you don't know the rules of the game? Really? So you're going to play football, but you don't know the rules of the game. You're going to play soccer, but you don't know the rules of the game. You're going to play volleyball, but you don't. Come on now. Now, I understand that we can do this in real time and we can learn on the job, quote unquote. Absolutely. But it is absolutely foolish for those who would set out to play football and never scrimmaged, never practiced, right? Okay, so let's go back to our strategic implementation plan. You'll notice that, what did I put down? You're going to list it as your applicable or your governing North Carolina general statutes. Now, of course, we're doing this for North Carolina because where are we? We're in North Carolina. Born and raised up. Just get up. Just around your head, spin like a helicopter. Okay, so that's the point I'm making, okay? So here, you've got North Carolina general statutes, chapter 130A, and all that jazz, okay? And then 15A. Oftentimes, you can just Google restaurant and North Carolina general statutes. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm kind of used to doing this, so I've done this before. And I knew 130A, but I wanted more specification because I know that it's also the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services that has its hand in it. And of course, it is the prevailing law comes from the North Carolina General Assembly or the legislators, right? And then it filters down and it goes. This is what is used by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, in addition to whatever their sub-codification is for the protection of individuals who would eat at these establishments. The point I'm making is that you can literally just Google it. I've done it before. Restaurant, North Carolina General Statutes, or restaurant, NCGS. And this is what popped up. So you're not necessarily going to find yourself in something like, oh God, how do I find this information? All right. Now, very quickly, let's go back. Reality check, okay? This is why we had it. This is the point where you need to stop. After you have read the general statutes, here you go, chapter 130, public health, and it gives you a specification on which ones. They're making sure to make your job even easier. They want to help you, trust and believe. As I mentioned before, they are fiduciaries. And the more you know, the easier their job is in enforcing the rule of law. They want you on the same page. They don't want you coming to the salsa showcase and you don't know how to salsa. They want you to salsa, okay? All right, so, and we're going to have to sign off here in just a second. Tell you it always goes fast. Boom. The next thing you see here is your cost of goods sold comprehensive organizational chart. That's what we're going to pick up on Friday. You'll notice that I've already created 3 text box. You see that it's just the default text that's in there. This is where we're going to get into that because we need to know about our cost of goods specifically and comprehensively before we can go into anything else. So we know the law, we know first things first, right? And we know we're going to get into cost of goods sold. It's like that. Queen Get Her Done paradigm. This is trademark stuff. All right, see you on Friday.